Hey, today I'm coming to you from inside the bathtub shower. You know, just to try to I don't know, whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about Batman and Robin. I love Batman and Robin, man. I love Batman. You know, like I sort of feel about them like that Myron Bolitar character does from that Harlan Coben series. The sports agent and he and Win just trip out and Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is great, man. I love Batman and Robin, especially the original series. I mean, I didn't get introduced to it that way. I was too young, but I've seen some of them and the way the Joker is, and I love that movie with like that Keaton guy or whatever it is, but the Joker who eventually died from the drug overdose and that fantastic, job he does making that speech about how society really is. I mean, that was introduced to me by another social delinquent who later came to hate me. But anyway, it was I love Batman. I understand the whole mythology, and there's also Superman. I've seen the original Superman series. By the way, did you know that I think that guy? I'm not sure. Someone told me the guy who played the Superman, the original Superman, committed suicide because he was typecast, and also that the guy who played the junior reporter dude, he was gay, and I think they swapped out Lois. They actually changed her out. I think when the series went from black and white to color, because you see in black, Lois Lane is a redhead, and in the black and white, her hair might have looked the right color, but when they switched to color and she didn't really have red hair, they had to find someone else to play her. See, I don't know if that's true, but it would just make sense of why the credit for Lois Lane changed in the middle of the series. But anyway, so that's all that. But so yeah, I love them. It's great. But I want to take a moment to just really shine a light on this. I want to, be devil's advocate for a moment. I want to talk about Batman as Hitler, or wait, let's talk about Batman as Gestapo and Superman as Hitler, okay? Or maybe Batman as Hitler. I don't know, whatever you want, but because I want to talk about, just for a moment, I'm going to take this really, psychiatrist, nature nurture thing going on, and I just want to say that if you read the background stories of many of these villains in Batman, horrible things happen to them. I mean, they didn't just. I mean, you never ever hear about a villain, and the reason this person became a supervillain was because they had a fair and equitable life. No. There's always some terrible tragedy in it. If it's not social, it's interpersonal tragedies like mommy, daddy, sister, uncle, friends at school, bullies, whatever, did something to this person that turned them in to what they are. And so what I want to know is that if society is busily, I mean, if you think about the ratio of supervillains to superheroes, or at least 8 or 10 supervillains for every superhero. I don't know if this is to keep things interesting, but there's Batman and Robin and a few other good guys, and then we just have woo, look at all these bad guys, okay? And I'm just saying, well, if you want to view this as a social phenomena, all right, what this is saying is that we're sort of trying to comfort ourselves about all the evil that the way we live is creating in the cracks, okay? I mean, how else could you say it? Every villain, I mean, almost every villain had some horrible tragedy that took place in their life that turned them into what they are. Which then means that they're just doing what anyone would do if those things happened to them, and that if they were wrong that way, then I guess that they're actually heroes, right? And then that means that the superheroes like Batman, who are just, and Superman, who are just mercilessly stopping them, are basically just stopping people from getting their just desserts. In other words, or raising the awareness that they've been mistreated by the society. I mean, they've been terribly mistreated, and now there's someone who's going to stop them, and it's going to be for good, but that doesn't acknowledge the fact that at least most of the time society was responsible for the way the villains became in the first place. I mean, let's take the classic example, someone who's short, okay? I mean, there's a Jack Reacher novel where someone who's the whole, because he was short is the whole reason he becomes a megalomaniacal killer, is because he was short. Now, let me just ask you something. Height is a relative thing. If I was Scandinavian, short might be 5'10". If I was Japanese, short might be 3'2", okay? It's a completely relative thing, which means that height is essentially a social phenomenon. Now, we can talk about all the stuff in our back brains. When someone's looming over you, you feel more threatened. Okay, whatever. We'll all accept that. But that still doesn't mean that society isn't completely and totally about rising above our animal nature, and if people can't rise above their animal nature to see that despite our stature we're equal, then they deserve what they get, don't they? It's the same logic we use for holding everyone responsible. So if that's true, then really who's to blame for the creation of a superhero isn't a character deficit in the short person, but a character deficit in the people of average height who looked down on the short person. They created a deficit. Now, I'm just saying, okay, yeah, the individual has responsibility, but so does the collective. So if the collective collectively created a monster, then who is a superhero to stop that monster from wreaking the havoc that it was created to wreak? Okay, that's essentially saying it's like letting the people who created the monster get off scot-free. They created a monster and now they're going to play innocent while some other hero, for whatever reason, just because he gets his rocks off or something, decides to save them by being more man than them. But even though that person never received any of the social criticism that would have turned the other person into the jerk he was. And while we all like to say that individual, some individuals would take, a crisis or, handle it this way, some individuals would take the pressure and handle it that way. The point still is that it's actually worse because a whole bunch of people separately did something evil where this person is just defending themselves, okay? So, it's really hard when you think of it that way, when you think, okay, well, by victimizing this person for being short, he became a monster, which is just a logical reaction to the stimuli that he was given. Just like someone who's had everything your perfect height, perfect eye color, perfect complexion, perfect personality, perfect intelligence, perfect ideology. Wow, everything goes real easy for you in life, and you just don't understand what all the hubbub is about. I can capiche that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that what the fuck is Batman doing? Okay, what he's doing is he's stopping the flow of blood after the fact. He's not in there, He's not in there trying to find a solution to these people's emotional problems. He's not in there hey, you like to kill and rape people? I found a whole bunch of people who want to be killed and raped. How about we get together? Hey, they're out there, right? Hey, we're all out there. What I'm trying to point is not to be ridiculous here, but just to say, if society is going to create monsters, why do they deserve heroes?